Hi, this is Kim Advent, and today is January 24th, 2012. I'm here with Alton, Voss the fourth, and Alton has been at CMI in his inpatient treatment now for 7.5 months. And today what we're going to do is recap a little bit what he's done from day one to 7.5 months later. We were talking a little bit yesterday, and he's already done one video where he describes his life before CMI, but briefly, Alton, if you don't mind, I would love for you to recap what your life looked like before coming to CMI as far as drug use.
Okay. Well, first, I come from a family, mother and father. They're both alcoholics. I have two sisters. And my father, when I was a child, he abandoned the family. And growing up, I played sports. I did well. I was a standout. And I went off to college, had a full ride to the University of South Florida. And that first year of college is when life, it became tough. And I had a lot of issues I was dealing with internally and externally with family, friends. And that's when drugs started to be a part of my life. And how it started is during that freshman year, on the weekends, I would go home as much as possible. And I would just escape from all reality and just reach that high. And my drug of choice at the time was prescription pills. I was using Oxycontin and oxycodone, and also through that freshman year, I was drinking heavily. I was drinking more than I'd ever drank in my whole life, and after that first year, things started to get rocky, and that's when my addiction got the best of me. I was living at home for the summer, commuting back and forth from school and home to go to football practice and class. But the only thing I could think about when I was at USF for the day is, man, I just cannot wait to get home just to get high. Because at that time, I didn't love football anymore. I had no hope for my life. I was lost. I just had no drive just to keep going. And the only thing that had me going was the drugs. And that's all I could think of. And it eventually caught up with me. I quit. And then for the next 3 years is when I had self-destruction. And I attempted to go to school numerous times after. It did not work. Still using. By this time, after I quit, I started going to a pain management clinic. So I was getting 360 Oxycontin, oxycodone a month. And so this is when I became a drug dealer, because I had quit football, quit school. My family, my friends, no one supported me. I had to provide for myself, so I became a drug dealer. And I had a habit to support at that time also. So that was my lifestyle for the next 3 years. And I got arrested for felony drug possession.
Alton was just telling us about when he made the decision to quit college, and for 3 years, his consumption and time was spent just using and selling drugs, and that's all he can think about, which leads me into the next question. What was your thinking like? I mean, did you decide at that moment that this is how my life's going to be forever? Because like you said, you stood out athletically. I could tell you personally, we saw some of the documentation of Alton in high school and in college, and he was exceptional and had a very promising career ahead of him if he chose it. And so he made a big decision by choosing the drugs instead. So what was your thinking like?
Like you said, after I made that decision to quit football and to quit going to school, I was lost. And it just seemed like when I had something going good, or something going good for me, and I would just throw it away because I could not handle what life was bringing to me. And for anybody else, these may be simple things, but when you're addicted to drugs, it makes it that much harder. So each time when I would fall off, it seems like there was a new drug of choice. So first I started with the prescription pills, the Oxycontin, oxycodone. Then it was smoking the marijuana every day. And then when times got even tougher, my best friend, what a best friend, introduced me to crack. And at this time, when you do crack, you can only smoke it or you can inject it with a needle. So for me, this was my first time ever doing this, using the needle. And so when I started using the needle with the crack, I started using the needle with the prescription pills. So that was my lifestyle for the last 4 months of that 3-year self-destruction that I was going through. But I didn't have any hope anymore. There was nothing promising. I mean, the only thing promising to me was that how am I going to get my high today? Because I mean, each day I'd wake up and I'm physically withdrawing from the drugs, and mentally I'm not balanced. I mean, I'd lost all touch of reality, and so I didn't have any. I had some ideas, but I didn't have a plan or a way to do it. It was impossible. And with all those different variables going on at the same time, I was leading to death. And I was trapped.
So when you got here, your thinking is exactly what? I'll figure some answers out, but I'll still continue to smoke pot. I'll go back in the sports. I'll go to college. What were you thinking?
It was similar to what you just said. I know I wanted to change, but I know for me, my philosophy on how to live life was wrong. And for me to smoke marijuana at that time was okay. Because I grew up in a household where that's what happened on a daily basis. I did think when I first came here, all right, everything they're teaching me is great. I can use these techniques. And then, I can go back to the States or wherever my life may bring me, and I still can smoke marijuana and kind of do things my way still, because I've always done things my way. But my way has led me to nothing but jail, with nothing, no family, no friends. It led me to, actually, I forgot to mention this earlier, it led me to a mental hospital. And that's when I was misdiagnosed, but I was given the label of schizophrenic and bipolar. Mm-hmm. And so I was heavily medicated on the medication for the 2 months prior before I came here. And but I did think I could do things my way. You know, what these people are doing is great. You know, I want to stop doing the heavy drugs, but still get a high. But now as the time has evolved, I mean, I don't even think about drugs anymore. Or if I have a heavy coaching, or one day is tougher than the other. One thing I'm noticing in myself is that the thoughts of like, man, getting high right now, that would be so much easier. It doesn't happen. Those thoughts don't exist anymore. And so for me, like, that is enough proof to know, like, since I've been here, things are working. And, that, for me, that is like, that's so promising to know that my cure, it's not that far away. I only have, 5 months left in my inpatient. And, it just keeps me wanting to fight every day.